again. This was last week, by the way. And then all of a sudden, Seth Rollins has a plan for Randy Orton. And what's the plan? Oh my God. There's like this big, huge, fucking box. And what could be in that box? Gee, it could be a Christmas ornament, a bag of Doritos, 50 pounds of Michelob Ultra. I don't know. Or weed. Who cares? Yeah, don't put weed anywhere near Jack Swagger, by the way, okay? But let's move on. Okay, so, the end of the night, match happens, blah, blah, blah. We move on to the next part. Here comes Kane, about to open the box. Somebody brings this up on Facebook. I'm reading through this, right? And I'm reading the part where somebody says, am I the only one that thinks that Dean Ambrose won't come out of that box? I stopped to think for just a minute, right? I'm like, I'm thinking, I could have swore I said that he was going to be in the box, or he was going to be in the closet, be a back door, bah. But what happens if he was in the box? Wow, that'd be a fucking badass magic trick if that happens. So sure enough, here's Seth Rollins right there on the table, getting ready. He's, about to put that curb stop on him. Opens the box, and then, dun da da da, Dean Ambrose! He comes out, he attacks Seth Rollins. John Cena tries to get a hold of Seth Rollins, and then Kane, and then Randy Orton, and then everything else like that. And before you know it, Seth Rollins is up on the fucking bleachers right there, scared off his fucking ass, because he knows he's going to get his ass kicked by Dean Ambrose. He knows he's going to get his ass kicked by John Cena. And the Authority is thinking they got everything under control, right? Now, tonight's Raw was badass. Tonight was fucking awesome. I didn't get a chance to see the first part of the episode. I just remember I came in, turned on Raw, and the only thing I remember seeing was Paul Heyman coming out. He came over to the ring, and does his usual deal. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am here tonight as the advocate for the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And I can't do this better than him, but, anyways. Goes ahead and decides that he's going to walk in and tell Seth Rollins, if you ever do that again to Brock Lesnar, the next time Brock Lesnar will show up and, do whatever. And then there's this one part where Triple H comes in and starts shaking hands and, pretty much intimidates him, right? That was it. But then it gets a whole lot more interesting, okay? Now, anyone that had a chance to see Friday Night SmackDown, I even said this once it happened. I saw Dean Ambrose, he had his match, and then Seth Rollins tried to come in, Kane tried to come in and attack and do whatever they can, right? So, before you know it, the first thing that came to my head is, if they're going to make this storyline a little interesting, they might as well go ahead and take the briefcase, okay? Take the briefcase, hold on to it as much as you can until Seth Rollins gives in. And then sure enough, at Friday Night SmackDown, Dean Ambrose goes ahead, takes the fucking briefcase, goes up to the fucking crowd, and he has, right there, dude. I was like, hell yeah, that works. That works out perfectly. So here comes Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins is bitching, whining, moaning, and complaining like he does every single time around his mom and around his dad. Yes, I'm referring to Stephanie and Triple H. Now, then Dean Ambrose appears on the screen, and all he said was, "You want the briefcase? Come get it." and then, oh God, this was probably the dumbest part I've ever seen. Well, besides the gator and the bunny and then whatever what I saw on Raw. I'll get to that in another time. But anyways, the next part comes in. Here I am watching Triple H talking to Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. Now, I want to bring up something here that was very, very interesting to me, but I want to clarify it before it comes up. Here's Triple H trying to tell these guys to, look around and try to get the briefcase. And I don't care if you bring Dean Ambrose in a million pieces, just bring the briefcase back, right? So here they are going through, like, Adam Rose's, entourage, and then starts asking Big E, and then starts asking the Great Khali, and has no idea what they're saying. So here's Dean Ambrose coming into the ring, and he brings in this bag. He brings in the briefcase, obviously, and I'm wondering what's in the bag, you know? And usually I wouldn't think about these things, but and this was just stroke genius on my part. Here I am. I see Dean Ambrose. I'm enjoying this shit. I'm having myself a Diet Coke. Yeah, Diet Coke. I'm watching this, and all of a sudden, you know, Dean Ambrose has this big bag, right? And he said something about the concession stand. He doesn't like how the authority is treating the concession stand or something like that. So he goes ahead, takes his bag, opens it up, and it's filled with nothing but WWE merchandise. Oh my God, I'm like, oh God, don't tell me he's going to throw all those t-shirts for free. Instead, he goes ahead and decides to sell them, right? Instead of getting them for, like, you know how you get a WWE t-shirt and all that stuff, and it comes out to, like, honestly, Dean Ambrose said $19.99, right? That's how much it would actually be. But in actuality, if you actually buy the shirts in the arenas, they cost somewhere around $25 to $30. Sometimes a little bit higher. I mean, I should know because I have most of WWE's merchandise anyway. So Dean Ambrose is here with the t-shirts, and then here's the part where I find it a little funny, but yet interesting. Here comes Jamie Noble. Here comes Joey Mercury. And what does Dean Ambrose say? It's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I think he said, oh my God, the Cruiserweight division is coming to get me. But I found one little flaw in that Cruiserweight division. Want to know the flaw? Let me tell you exactly about the flaw. Anybody that remembers the Cruiserweight division quite well, you know the superstars that were a part of that whole Cruiserweight division, right? Anyways, I'm sorry. I knocked something off, but let's move on. The Cruiserweight division comprises certain people. Now, Jamie Noble is one of those Cruiserweights. Now, as you remember, he used to be a part of WCW a long time ago. Then when he was a part of the WWE, he was that trailer park trash individual who ended up with some hottie named Nydia, who I wouldn't mind banging once or twice or 5 million times in a damn trailer. That's just me, though. And then his career pretty much ended at the hands of Sheamus. You remember that. Now, he was a part of the Cruiserweight division a long time ago. That's just to give you a little history lesson, okay? Now, Joey Mercury, on the other hand, was never a part of the Cruiserweight division. However, he was a part of a tag team known as M&M, okay? Not M&M's, not Eminem, M&M. That's how it goes. How do you get that confused? But anyways, so here they are, trying to get the briefcase. They don't do anything about it. All they do is they walk away. That's all they fucking do. They just walk away. And then all Dean Ambrose did was take the bag and start throwing t-shirts all around. And let me tell you something. I would have loved to have been in Chicago just to get those damn t-shirts for free. Hell yeah. Oh, by the way, if anyone was expecting CM Punk to show up on Monday Night Raw in Chicago, not going to happen. Just to clarify that in front of all of you. But anyways, after that whole scenario with throwing all the t-shirts around, here comes Seth Rollins. And here comes Jamie Noble. Here comes Joey Mercury. And here comes a bunch of security right over there. And then this was another funny part on Dean Ambrose's part, where he goes ahead, he sees these guys in front of him, and this was even funnier. Are you guys really security? Because I could have swore you were Rosebuds last week. and to be quite honest, that's usually true, because how often is it that when you see security over there on Raw, do you notice who they are? Or, you know, I could have swore I saw you on Monday Night Raw. Hey, you know what? I thought I saw this dude on NXT. Oh, wait a minute. Aren't you Wade Barrett? Yeah, you used to be in NXT a while back, man. Oh, Sheamus. I mean, you couldn't miss Sheamus a mile away with that kind of color. But anyways, after all that was done, after all that was finished, Dean Ambrose plotted something I wasn't even expecting. Well, actually, I think I was expecting it, but I wasn't sure how it was going to expect. So here's security. They're all there. Dean Ambrose leaves the briefcase on top of the desk, right? Everything's there. Everything's fine. They're just like, hey, I don't want any trouble, man. You know, you're Mr. Money in the Bank. There's your briefcase. Hey, I'm good, man. Hey, you're good. So here's Dean Ambrose coming up the stairs, going right where the crowd is. And then here's Seth Rollins, thinking he's got the briefcase on the table. Everything's fine. Nothing's going to happen. But we're all anticipating to find out, did he do anything to the briefcase? We all knew, didn't we? Here we're all anticipating. We're sitting back relaxing. We're watching the whole thing. And then he opens the briefcase. He's about to open the briefcase and... green slime on on Seth Rollins' face. I'm sorry. It was pretty fun. I mean, the look on Dean Ambrose's face tells the story, right? There's a wide camera angle on Dean Ambrose right there up in the crowd. Here's Seth Rollins all kind of like that, right? And then here's Dean Ambrose right there, like. Oh man, it was like the most coolest thing to happen on Monday Night Raw. Just seeing the whole, and Seth Rollins was just throwing a fucking fit. He goes ahead, he hardly could take his jacket off. He's all walking around with the briefcase, all sobbing and stuff. And just, híjole, so, what the hell happened to you, man? Oh man, that was the most. Dean, there's a reason why a lot of people are starting to dig Dean Ambrose a whole lot. I mean, I knew he was going to be golden, but my God, he went platinum, my friend. That's what happened to him. He went platinum, but nonetheless, I don't want to talk about the tag match because, even though it was Dean Ambrose with John Cena, we've seen it, we've done it, we knew exactly how it was going to happen, and boom, that's it. It's over. But let me go ahead and continue on with what I need to talk about. I wanted to talk about Brock Lesnar for a moment because obviously he has some issues with Seth Rollins as well. The whole thing with Night of Champions, the whole thing with Cena, and the first thing that I said was I knew straight up that if John Cena and Brock Lesnar were going to have the rematch, John Cena, and I've said this on Twitter and on Facebook, that at Night of Champions, if John Cena takes on Brock Lesnar, he will not be WWE Champion, but he will beat him at Night of Champions. Expect that to happen. Nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. I didn't see the pay-per-view, but it did take place. It did happen. And Seth Rollins was the one that pretty much set up the whole deal. And even I was the one that said this. Triple H will not admit that he set up John Cena, and he will also not admit that he set up Brock Lesnar. Because the only thing that the Authority is concerned with is keeping the championship within the Authority. Remember, Brock Lesnar is WWE Champion. So as far as Triple H is concerned, he may think that the championship is with the Authority. But the championship is really with Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar. Okay? So, Triple H, whether anybody likes it or not, Triple H does not have control over Brock Lesnar. You know that. I know that. Every other person in this room, sort of, and every other person that's watching the Main Event Talk knows that Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are in possession of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. So who do I think should take on Brock Lesnar for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? The only person I can think of at this point, I mean, obviously some people would go ahead and pick John Cena. Duh. But at the same time, I mean, I want to add something a little bit different to it. Put somebody different. Put somebody that actually, that people actually want to see. So, one person in mind, believe it or not, some people will agree, some people will disagree. I say you put Randy Orton against Brock Lesnar at Hell in a Cell for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. But don't put it in a Hell in a Cell match. You know why? Because you could hurt Brock Lesnar, okay? And I know some people are probably, Paul Heyman's probably thinking to himself, you can't hurt Brock Lesnar. He is 100%. If he was 100%, he wouldn't be in the WWE. He'd be in UFC still fighting. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thought. That's just how it goes. But nonetheless, I would definitely want to see Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar, the youngest WWE champion versus the young